Hello and welcome to the third installment of the World Diary, where I go over the progress in my quest to rebuild the whole world. As always, I will link the world page in the description in case you like a better look at the maps or an opportunity to download one of my builds or sims that live in those builds if they're residential. My world has a proper title now, which is Viewpoint. It was previously called Sereneville, which was a placeholder title, while I was trying to figure something else out for the world. Viewpoint isn't an amazing name, it's a bit generic, but it does do the job, I suppose. I was kind of struggling to come up with a nice title that would encompass all the worlds because a lot of the things I thought of, they would go well with Willow Creek and Newcrest and even Winterberg, but they wouldn't really go with Oasis Springs and vice versa, so Viewpoint it is, and I have now added an official world page to my blog. I had a world page before, but it was kind of hidden. You had to get a link, but now I actually have a little icon on my homepage on the left side. I will start with a quick look in Oasis Springs because I believe I've mentioned in the first installment of this series that a lot of my older builds are looking a little bit outdated compared to the newer ones because some of them were built in the days before Move Objects On was available and we didn't have a lot of content. So I did mention that the cinema especially was beginning to look a bit like out of place compared to my more detailed lots, so you will notice now that it's gone. I've completely got rid of it. I was trying to kind of build onto it with the new addition of the new stuff pack, movie stuff, but I was just not feeling the shell itself, so I completely bulldozed it. I think there's just some road left, and I have built a new cinema that's in Winterberg that I'm going to show when I get there. So just like with the second episode, most of the changes I will go over in this episode are in Winterberg. So firstly, I'm going to show you the lot that I showed in the second installment that wasn't ready yet, but I have finished it and it has since been uploaded. It's Fortune's Card. Here it is, and it looks pretty much the same as it did in the previous episode. I did just edit the outside as I mentioned because I wanted to add more detail to it because it was looking a little bit scarce on the landscaping, and with the new addition of kind of bohemian stuff in the new stuff pack, it kind of gave me that little inspiration I needed to finish this lot. I think I've also edited a couple of things indoors, like the curtains and stuff, but the setup is the same as it was originally. Just replaced a couple of things with the new movie stuff, and it's still inhabited by Susanna Forn as previously, and it is available for download as I mentioned. Next addition is a small one. I've moved a household that was previously homeless onto this lot here. It is currently empty, so they don't really have a house, but the reason I moved them in is because the adult is an owner of one of my new retail lots, and you cannot own a retail lot unless you're like an occupant of a house somewhere in the world, so that's why I moved them in. But they don't have a house yet, so they just live on an empty piece of land. There are a couple new things in the old town of Winterberg, which I'm going to jump into. If you've seen the second installment of the series, you may remember this lot. It was my beer garden, work in progress. I've since rebuilt it pretty much, well, quite substantially. It still kind of serves that purpose, but it has a completely different look now. That I think kind of fits in with Winterberg, or what I wanted to have in this part of Winterberg better. It's called the Giggling Llama and it's a pub. So yeah, it's still beer related, but it has a completely different vibe as to what I was originally going for, which would have been like a well, it would have had a very large outdoor sitting area with like little flags and kegs and stuff, but this is like a more classy uh, sort of thing. So yes, it is also a finished lot and it's also uploaded. So you can always download it if you like it. This is another new addition to Winterberg. It's a nightclub called Church. There's a couple of reasons why I've decided to build it like this and make it what it is, which is a nightclub. Firstly, as I mentioned before in the second episode, I believe, I used to have a chapel in Newcrest, which I've since removed because my main household, they're not married and I don't intend to have them marry anytime soon or ever, so there really is no point for me to have a chapel in the game. But I kind of like the look of it, well, like of having one in the world, so I thought I'd build a churchy type build but give it an actual use. And the other reason why I made a church chapel nightclub is because my chapel, which was a wedding venue, was set to nightclub because nightclub has quite easy requirements to fulfill, since you do need to have a lot type for visitors to come, because if you just make a lot generic, I've noticed that visitors do not come to the venue. So it was a chapel that was set as a nightclub, and a lot of the comments I used to get on the upload on the gallery was, why is it a nightclub? Haha, my Sims are gonna go dance here and stuff like that. So it's kind of an homage, I guess you could say, to the fact that the old chapel was set to the nightclub. So this new chapel is actually a nightclub, and it is also a finished build, which you can download. Whoops. And I like to say that I don't know if you noticed, but I do have this thing going in all the lots in Winterberg so far, which is this like outline, like a tiled outline, and I had it around Giggling Llama, and I have it around all the other builds I'm going to show you this episode. I don't know if I'm going to do the same thing with residential lots, because all the other lots here so far are community, but I thought it was quite cute to kind of have that like similar thing between them all, because I believe it just like makes them go better together. So yeah, it's this outline and also the trees on the corners with the lights in the trees. And I'm going for like this black and red color scheme on the tile in the old city, old town district of Winterberg. I'm doing the same thing in the modern side, but instead of red, I think I'm doing blue, which I'm going to show you when I get there as well. But this is the church, which is a nightclub. Near the church is another new community venue, the Market Quarter. This is what it looks like, and it's a park. It has a large clock tower here. That's why I'm kind of zoomed out, just to show you it. And the church is right there, you can see, and the Giggling Llama is there as well. So they're quite close to one another, but not super close, but you can see them from here quite well. I'm going to zoom into here, and the inspiration for this slot was the fact that a lot of the concept art for Winterberg featured like market stalls, so it was a bit of a bummer that they didn't include any, so I thought it would be nice to build some. And that's why I built this marketplace. So I have a little stall with some fruit here, and flowers, and some fish, since it is like on a canal, so I thought it'd be cute to have a fish stall. And then I have like a general herb whatever stall here, don't know what to call it, and another stall with paintings, because it cannot be an old town without like a an artist somewhere selling their wares. So this is Market Quarter, and it also is a finished lot that you can download if you wish to. And there's the fountain with the fishies. The last thing in the old town is this trio of lots that I've kind of started on in the previous episode. I'm going to jump into one of the work in progress lots right now. If you watched the previous episode of the World Diary, you may recall that I've mentioned that I'm trying this thing here where I've kind of aligned the lots, the free ones here, to create an illusion of symmetry around this fountain, because the lots do not sit parallel or symmetric to one another, unfortunately. So that's kind of why the outline on these three, unlike all the previous lots, it doesn't follow like the edge. It's a bit smaller because I was trying to create like rectangles that are sort of the same or similar size. So I'm still going with it. As you can see, I actually have one finished lot here, so it's pretty much set that I am sticking with the squares, the setup, because I quite like it, but it does leave me with kind of smaller area to work with, but I do like a challenge. So the first slot here is a work in progress. As you can see, what I'm doing here is these are all community lots, and I'm going for this kind of I don't know what to call it. It's like an obvious architectural style that you would see in like an European city's old town area, for instance. The clock towers remind me of Riga, which is where I'm from. It's in Latvia, in case you don't know where Riga is. It's the capital of Latvia, and that's where I originally hail from. And this is, I don't know what it is. I was intending to make this a comic book store, which I have since moved on to the other lot, so this one is empty at the moment. I was thinking of having a music store that kind of sells guitars and stuff somewhere in here. I don't know if it's gonna be this lot or maybe that one there. Haven't decided yet, but if it's this one, it will probably be a music store or something else. So I have this like tower here, and there's another kind of stall, but it's a bar as well. And I'm also doing this thing with well, there's none on this lot here, but in this inactive area there's like this setup with a light and 3 tables, which you can't edit because it's inactive, which I'm not really a big fan of. For instance, I don't like these chairs. I would have used different chairs if I was able to edit this, but I can't. And it's like just one like little thing here. It doesn't repeat anywhere else, so I thought I would force it and like repeat it on these lots to kind of make it blend into this whole area better. So as you can see, I have it like there and there and there as well, and I don't have any on this lot because I have like a different setup here with the flags, but I do think I might need to rethink it, because I do think I need to recreate this umbrella thing there somewhere, but I haven't decided yet, because I do like that setup and I'd be bummed to change it, because this this crisscrossy thing took me a lot of effort to like work out the logistics. I know it probably doesn't look like it took a lot of effort, but it did, because I tried like 50 different ways to put them, basically, because they are obviously like 2 tile wide, and diagonally the little flags, they're like, I think they're less than 2 tiles, so it was kind of hard to create a design where they all connected, because sometimes like the string would be too short and it would have like a space between them. I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna jump into the lot in the center next, I think. This is another work in progress, as you can probably tell. I've built a follower gift on my Tumblr, and I've built it in the modern part of town, and it was a lounge because I had a post asking people to make suggestions as to what they'd like to get as a build gift, and I've rolled a person who originally suggested something else, but then we talked about it and then they changed their request to a lounge. Well, actually it was a cafe for their golf club, I believe, and so I built a shell, and it was a large one. It basically it was, I think, on the entire like 20 by 30 lot. And I did upload it as unfurnished, just to kind of let people do whatever they want with it. And it was called Juniper Lounge. I'm going to just show you a small image in the library. So that's the original lounge. That was like my follower gift on Tumblr. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it for my game personally, but obviously I uploaded it because it is part of my follower gift. But then while I was working on this area here, I thought, well, I didn't really have any ideas what to do with this lot because I had this one sort of build and that one build as well, and then this one was empty. So I thought, why don't I try to put it here and chop half it off to fit it into the square, which I did, as you can see, so it's like a half version of the big one. And I actually think it's quite cute, so it might stay here, it might not, I don't know. I also don't know what to do with it in terms of inside. It is going to be a community lot venue, so it might be a music store if that one isn't, but if that one is, then that will have to be something else. I was thinking of maybe turning it into a lounge because the lounge I have at the moment in Willow Creek is quite ugly and it's like a really old build that I've never uploaded because I was just embarrassed of it. But I mean, it's very small, so I don't know how well I would be able to make this into a lounge. It might have to be like a retail of something else. Haven't really decided, but I do like how it looks here. I think it looks cute. And I have this empty space here, which I haven't really done much with, because like it's not gonna be a build in here because the build's like in the outline. So this will just have to be, I don't know, I might put more of the umbrellas and the chairs here. But I don't think it's gonna be like a very busy area. It's not gonna have much. And the last lot in this district is the Nerdom. It's the only finished lot in here, and it's a retail lot which is owned by Mastersons, the household that is currently living in Winterberg, but they don't actually have a house, that I've showed before. And its building is kind of old town style again, but it is a comic book store which I've originally intended to have in one of the other shells, but I've since made here because it just has more space, and it is a finished lot as well, which you can download if you'd like to. So you can see I'm doing these umbrellas here, so they kind of go well with this one. And there's umbrellas there as well. So I'll probably have to do some umbrellas there somewhere on that lot. Don't really know where yet, haven't figured it out, but I am quite pleased with this little district here. I don't know, I just like the look of it. It reminds me of like Riga, as I said. And it's quite like busy, which is the way I like my world to look. I don't know if that makes sense, basically like a lot that has a lot of different things on it as opposed to just one big house or one big like community venue. It has like a couple of different shells that are all connected. So yeah, I think that's it for the old town of Winterberg. I still have 2 new things in the modern town. which I'm going to jump to now. The first lot I'm going to show you in the modern town is the old cinema, which is contrary to its name, the new cinema, because I got rid of the old one in Oasis Springs. This is what it looks like, and as I've already said, it's called the old cinema, and it's a cafe, I believe, and you should see the outline that I mentioned before. This one's blue, so I'm leaving the red for the old town, and I'm doing blue in this modern part of Winterberg here. I do say modern because, well, it's modern by default with how it comes with the world in the expansion pack, but I'm not going for a particularly modern style with this. I kind of want it to be similar to the old town, so that's why I'm kind of going with this oldish vibe. So there won't be like a lot of glass and stuff in this hood with my lots, even though it is quite a modern zone. But yeah, this is the cinema, and it's also a finished lot. And I've tried to kind of mimic certain parts of the neighborhood as I did with the umbrellas, the tables, the chairs in the old town. So they have these like awning things here in the inactive zone where you can't change them. So I tried to recreate them here. So you can see they're like separate objects. Just to kind of make the lot fit into the neighborhood, since it is a modern neighborhood and an old lot, so I wanted to basically fit in better. So that's the cinema. I don't know if I should show inside, because I try not to show inside of finished stuff, but I'll show it here, I suppose. Yeah, you can always find links and pictures on my blog. It should all be linked in the world page in the description. The last thing I'm going to show you in this episode is this lot here in the modern neighborhood of Winterberg, and it's called Bank of Winterberg. This was actually a requested lot over on Tumblr. I believe there's a mod out that lets you have a credit card, and I think you can like get loans and stuff. I personally don't use the mod, so I don't know much about it, but I did receive a request/suggestion to build a bank venue for people who use the mod to use it. So I made this, and it's set as a library, so it is a fully functional lot. But it is meant to be a bank, and since it was a request, I originally built it for the person who requested it, but I do quite like it, so that's why I kept it for my world. It's on a 30 by 30 lot, I believe, so it's kind of small, but it has like a lot of decor, like a makeshift little telephone booth here, and also I recreated the subway station that I have in one of my lots in Newcrest, the internet cafe, so it's exactly the same. I actually saved it by rooms and like recreated it here, because you know it is nice to have the fake subway stations connect, since I only had one in the world, but now I have two. And this is the bank. So it's a fully functional library, but it looks like a bank. It's got a little vault there as well. Not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to create an overly long video, because I have a knack for doing that unintentionally. So yes, you can always find pictures, download links and more on my blog. I believe that concludes this episode. So I would like to thank you for watching and bearing with me as I ramble on, as always, and I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of my progress, and I shall see you later.